joining us. Of course, the owner of P Management Sport. Is owner the correct term? No, it's not Mike. Is it the correct term?
Partner, yeah, one of the partners.
Okay, one of the partners out at P Management. She's been graceful enough to bring us one of her clients, and I'm speaking about Toronto FC centre forward, former Wydad Sundowns. Currently, he's still eligible and he's played there, so I'm going to call him Bafana player. Caisius Mailula. Wow,
Hello, my brother.
Are you well?
I'm good, man. How are you?
You look good.
Yeah, I should look good.
Get loyal to the main seat.
No, it's good to be home, actually. It's good to be home.
How often do you get to come home?
Oh, bro. Just once or twice in a year. It's difficult.
So, normally if I was speaking to Caisius, would not only speak English, would speak all sorts of languages. As a boy from up north, would make sure that everybody up north needs to hear us as well. But we've been asked by a lot, and not one or two. As soon as we posted this on the show, a lot of the Wydad, and as soon as you posted it as well, a lot of the Wydad and Moroccan fans that follow you, that are interested in you, asked that, can they please listen in and understand? So a lot of the guys watching right now live to see Caisius want to know, exactly what's happening with you, where you are. So we're English.
Yeah, I've got no choice though.
Yeah,
I'm used to that. I'm coming from an environment where obviously I have to communicate with everyone with English. So
America in somewhere.
No. But
Oh, you are though?
No, I'm good, man.
The Club World Cup, huh? What an experience.
A very great one, eh?
When it started, I must be honest, the first couple of games, the first round, I thought, is this a good idea? But second round came, third round came. I think the tournament grew on everyone, and it became what the vision of it was. How did you find it?
Yeah, man, it's a great experience to play the Club World Cup. The level is very high, to be honest. The level is very high. And yeah, I think it was amazing to play against the best teams. Our group was very tough.
Yeah.
A lot of lessons taken. I enjoyed every moment, to be honest. The hotel, the city, also even the atmosphere. It's completely different. It was amazing actually.
Because you're not based in America, you're based in Toronto.
Yeah, in Canada.
Which is Canada.
Yeah.
And that's different to America completely.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a French-English country, number one.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of French being spoken there, and the weather is not the greatest.
The weather was bad. I'm gonna be honest. The weather was bad. It was really bad. I didn't like it. It's too hot, man. Also, you're playing at 12 p.m. in the morning. It's not nice.
And when it's cold, it's cold.
When it's cold, it's cold. And when it's hot, it's very humid. It's very humid, yeah.
Do you think you acclimatized, though? Do you think there's a time when you got to Toronto and you were enjoying it, and you're enjoying not just the football, but the social aspect of it?
I think it was difficult. My manager would call me and say, you've been in the house for too long. Go out, get to learn the city, what you like, find out more about their culture, what they like doing. And yeah, man, I would do so some days, to get to learn how it is to be in Canada, what is nice there to do. So yeah, I think the country is very nice, very beautiful actually, very beautiful. Yeah.
Football-wise, though, you didn't have the greatest time in Toronto,
I would say.
As far as game time is concerned. You moved there, you were a big-name player. I mean, the numbers that you put up here before you left, Caisius, for the amount of games you played, that's still up there. That was a great run that you had before you left. What do you think of when you got there, the amount of football you played, and football-wise, was it great?
No, obviously, before I went to Toronto, I was doing well at Sundowns. I had a rhythm, I was doing well also, in the national team. But yeah, man, obviously it's a different environment when I go to Toronto. The pressure is different. Also, the culture is different. I think overall, as much as things didn't go the way I wanted, but there's a lot of things that I've learned, and even the system, of how they work, it's completely different from here.
I mean, I watched the MLS, and although due respect, I don't see the level being very high. And you see it again when you watch the Club World Cup, the American teams. You know, even though the Miami's got a Messi, a Suarez, etc., they're not that high. And then I look at what you were doing here, and I look at the African teams. Was it hard to break into the team? Was it hard to get in there? Was the level of Toronto that high?
I'm gonna be honest. Not that the level is not too high or it's high. I think there it was more about me being able to adapt to everything. You know, I think that was my challenge. Firstly, to adapt to how they work. You know, the club itself. You know, the demands of the pressure of playing for Toronto. You know, I had to understand how the level that the club is at. You know, also there was a lot of changes into the club, you know, a lot of new coaches, you know, new interim coaches. So I had to also adjust to a lot of new different philosophies of coaches, and which is a bit difficult for a footballer at my age.
Just hold on that for me. We'll come back with that. I need to take a quick break.
Okay.
The Taranga Lioness.
6 on the Mighty Metro FM. We're live on SABC Sport. We are on Facebook. We are on Twitter. We are on Instagram, as well as on SABC Sport. You can catch us there as well. If you've got SABC Sport Plus, that's where we're going to be live at. It stays open, and you can catch this conversation with Caisius Mailula a little bit later on as well. Karabo from P Management. And I keep mentioning her because I've got a feeling at some point I'm going to need to drag her into this. She does manage the affairs of Caisius. Caisius, sorry, I cut you there, you know, because I needed to take the ad, but it was a very important conversation because we wondered, a lot of South Africans. You had great success here, and I'm going to get into that success. You get to the US league, which obviously includes Canada and the MLS. You're playing for Toronto. I watched a couple of MLS games, you know, and I know what the level here is. I'm not convinced you don't make that team. You know, on your best day when you're playing your football, what you're doing at Wydad, what you did at Sundowns, I don't understand how you didn't play more football.
Yeah, as I said also, I mean, it's a different system. It's a different environment, you know. They don't work the same as us in South Africa, you know. But also, I don't think it's a matter of talent, you know, or of you not being good enough, you know. It's also just all about getting somebody that believes in you and that sees you, you know. And for me also, I think I had to prove myself over and over again. But yeah, man, it's not easy as it looks. But I also believe that I had to adapt to a lot of things, you know. I had to adapt to new coaches, you know, new different styles and philosophies of the new coaches that were coming in, because the club also at that time was not so stable or balanced in terms of management, you know, new coaches, you know, new interim coaches. So, yeah, man.
Did it break your spirit at some point?
Yeah, it was. Sometimes, obviously, when you're not playing, you know, it breaks your spirit because you know what you're capable of, you know, and all that you want is just to be given an opportunity to play and to showcase your talent, you know. And obviously I'm from South Africa and I know how big this is, you know, to come and play in Toronto, and everyone at home is watching and supporting you, and they're wondering why did you leave and now that you're in a big club but you're not playing, you know, you could have stayed, this and that. But at the same time, I actually, because I have a good support system, you know, I knew that going there, you know, it's a risk also, you know. I had to be strong. I had to keep myself strong and to keep going and to hopefully wait for a chance to play, you know.
You had 2 DPs, they call them DPs in America, designated players that came from Italy. Insigne was one of them. And of course, these are players that we are well aware of because we've seen them. The Italian league is a big league. And we watched them, and they were part of the same team. You came in as an under-22. Benedicci was the other one. Were they better than you? Did they adapt better than you, maybe?
Let me be honest. Their level is very high. You know, technically, they're very good. But I feel like, you know, in football, if you want to be the best, you have to compete against the best.
100%.
You know, so for me, going there and having them playing the same position as me, it was good for me because I want to play for a big club one day. You know, I also want to compete against the best. You know, because where I come from at Sundowns, you know, I knew the demands and the level that is very high. You know, and to compete against the best, it's something that I think people take it for granted, but it helps you to grow. You know, yeah.
You speak of Sundowns, 16 games, 13 goals, 4 assists. Those are crazy numbers. This is in all competitions. Whenever you'd come on, there was almost a goal guaranteed for Mamelodi Sundowns. Could have stayed, negotiated a better contract, could have. When you think now about the decision to leave Sundowns and move on to Toronto, talk me through that decision.
Yeah, obviously the club wanted me to stay, you know, and for me it was all about growth, you know, and also I have a dream. You know, every footballer has a dream of playing in a top level, you know, league, you know, and for me, I saw this as an opportunity to open doors for me to play in Europe and other big clubs, you know, in the world. Actually, other big leagues, you know, in the world. So for me, I thought this is actually a big move for me, you know, and also it could change my life, you know, and also my family, you know, and yeah, man, I saw it as a way for me to grow, and also I knew the risk of going there, you know, especially at my age, you know. So
yeah, because that was a talk. You're so young. Go to the Netherlands, go to Portugal, go to France. Those leagues are better gateway leagues. Did you guys have a conversation about that, to say the American League is, you know, as it's a league that's been upcoming. It's a league that's in recent times delivered some players to big top clubs. Don't get me wrong, but did you consider perhaps European leagues that are not the top 5 leagues?
Of course, you know, obviously during our discussions when I was with Sundowns, you know, they knew my goal, they knew my dream. You know, I started there when I was like 13 years, 14 years, you know. They knew that one day I want to play for their first team. I also want to one day go to Europe, you know, or other big leagues in the world, you know. So even when I was negotiating with Toronto, they also knew my goal, you know. It's not only to just go there and to stay, you know. It's as for me to go there to do well, to help the club, to win trophies with them, but also to grow as a footballer and to one day play for a big club in Europe or in other big leagues also, yeah.
Are there any regrets leaving Sundowns, choosing the MLS, going to Toronto? Is there any of that where you think, maybe I shouldn't have, maybe I could have made a better decision, maybe I could have stayed?
No, when I look at it, obviously it's a difficult one, but I don't have regrets, you know, because I know what I'm capable of, you know, if given a chance, you know, in the pitch. I think this was a calculated risk from my side, you know, because I know that this is not an easy decision to make, you know, especially when you are doing well in Sundowns and you're going to an environment where you're going to be competing against the best players, you know, and yeah, I don't think there's any regrets from my side. But obviously, when you are not doing well or getting minutes, it puts a question to whether did you make the right decision to leave or not, you know. But I think it was good. It was good for me to experience that, because you know how life is, you know. Sometimes you're at the top, sometimes you are down, and also it's all about giving an opportunity, getting somebody that believes in you, you know. And yeah, I think also for me, all that I wanted was to change my life and to change my family's life, you know.
I hear that, Caisius, and in my mind I'm thinking, are you talking about money? Because if you're saying change my life,
yeah, definitely, of course, that
then the interpretation of that is going to be, did you leave because the money was better?
No, Sundowns has taken care of me since I was young. They took me to school. You know, I can never even go to them and say, they also know I've never went to them and said, hey, I want more money or anything like that. It was not actually only just about money. You know, as I said, I have a dream. You know, I'm a big person that dreams big, you know, and is ambitious. So also remember, I'm a footballer, and at home I'm a breadwinner. I know that I want to change everyone's life in my family, you know, and by doing that is taking risk, you know.
No, I completely understand that. But that risk meant falling off Hugo Bruce's radar as well. That was one of those punitive acts that came with the choice that you made.
Yeah.
That can't have been nice.
Yeah, definitely. You know, I think I had a chat with him, you know, before making a move. You know, I feel like what he said.
This was Hugo Bruce?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he told me before I leave, you know, I think for me, I think you should stay, you know, and get more playing time, you know, and for you to be able to play for the national team, you have to play regularly, you know, and I think he's right by that, you know. But also when I look at it on my side, you know, I think this was a move that was calculated from my side, knowing that I'm going to be competing against the best players, you know. And also remember, at the national team, even if they call you now, it's not guaranteed that they're always going to be calling you, whether you go to another league or you stay behind. You know, even at Sundowns, I know that the competition is high there. You know, I still have to earn my place. You know, so I knew that even moving to America, I still have to step up. I still have to fight for my position. You know, it's not gonna be easy, even if I had a good season at Sundowns. Yeah.
Are you still contracted to Toronto? Are you still a Toronto FC player?
Yeah, legally, I'm contracted to Toronto.
Legally.
Yeah, it's true.
Are you going back there?
There's obviously discussions going on right now. As the club, if they can give me a break, because I've never had a break. Remember,
because the MLS is still ongoing.
Yeah, the MLS is still ongoing now, and obviously I had to go to Wydad on loan, and that was during the season. So actually, the season was about to end in America. So yeah, as the club, if I can go on a break, you know, and then obviously we're gonna discuss and explore all the options and see if obviously if I come back or not.
I'll get to that in a bit, and I'll come back to this one. How big is Rulane in your life? How big is that relationship?
Amazing, man. You know, he's a father figure to me. You know, he has helped me even before I went to Wydad, you know, when I was at Sundowns. Yeah, man, he's a friend, and I think he played a huge role in my career.
Is that why you went to Wydad? Was it on the strength of Rulane's there?
Definitely, because I know he believes in me. And as a player, if you have somebody that believes in you, you play with confidence, because you know that you have to do well for him, you know. Yeah.
How was your time at Wydad then? Because then that was the next transition. You know, I must say, the games that I did see, I saw the Caisius of old. I saw a happier you. I saw a more comfortable you. And it's funny because that environment in Morocco, I would think, is tougher to adjust to than in Canada. But it seemed you were a lot better there. I'm not sure if it's because maybe I'm not sure.
Well, of course, that contributed. But yeah, my time at Wydad was amazing, and it was a great experience, you know. Great city, great people also, you know. The atmosphere there at the stadium when you guys play, it's unbelievable, you know. The pressure also is good for a footballer, you know. If you want to grow as a footballer, you have to play in Wydad, you know. It's a big club, you know. The demands are very high, and yeah, man, I enjoyed every bit of it, you know. Yeah.
Was it a bit of a dampener that the club wasn't doing as well as the expectation of the fans?
Yeah, I would say, but you know, obviously, even the club, there was a lot of changes. You know, new president, new squad, you know, new management. There's a lot of changes. So obviously, the fans, that's what I'm saying. The club is very big, you know. The fans are demanding, you know, and as a footballer, obviously you want to play for a big club, but you still have to know that you have to deliver, you know. Yeah.
And how were you and Lodge there together? I mean, it seems like you're having fun on the pitch. How was that relationship?
Yeah, I think having one person that comes from the same country as you actually helped us, you know. It made me to feel, how can I put it, like, to feel free if I want to share something with him, because the language, you know, it's easy, and it actually made things easy for me to even play in the pitch, because he would be able to communicate something with me, you know, to fix something, and I can be able to do the same back to him, you know. So actually having him was really amazing, you know, because we also stayed at the same complex, would go to training together, even off the pitch, you know, would spend more time together, which helped, instead of being alone, where you can't go out alone, you know, you can't do certain things alone. So that also helped me a lot to feel like I'm home, you know. Yeah.
And it helped that you had Coach Rulane there as well, but then he soon started having challenges and left.
Yeah.
Did the club make a mistake there?
From my point of view, I don't think it's the club, and I also don't think it's Rulani. You know, there was just a lot of things going on that actually made the coach to leave. You know, it's not the club that said leave. You know, obviously the coach, there was too much pressure on him, you know, and I also know that we could have done better as players, you know, to do well in the pitch, you know, for him to be able to handle the pressure, you know, from the fans and also the management. Because as a coach, if your players are doing well, are fighting for you in the pitch, I mean, it becomes easy. Your job becomes easy to work, you know. Yeah.
How did that affect you now? The person who brought you, and I remember asking this of Beetle when he had brought Percy, and I said, hey, what's to happen if you leave? You know, when you brought the player, particularly a player from your own country, it was the same situation with you. You know, he had brought yourself and Lodge because he believed in you. He knew you guys so well. Now he's leaving and leaving you there.
Yeah, it was sad, man. It was not nice. You know, from my side, I also felt like maybe I could have done more for him, because he always fought for me. You know, when I was at Sundowns, you know, he fought for me to stay. He fought for me to get a better contract, you know,
because he didn't want you to leave Sundowns.
Yeah, he also fought for me to get the deal done, also to go to Toronto. You know, it says a lot about him. Even when things were not going well for me in Toronto, he would still check up on me, you know, and ask me if I don't mind coming to Wydad. And I'll say I'm open to that, because I know the type of a person he is and the type of a coach that he is. So, yeah, man, he's amazing. He's a great guy. I could say a lot about him. And, yeah, that losing him actually, affected me, obviously, because now I start to think about, if the new coach comes in, am I going to play, you know, and how am I also going to communicate with, like, the new coach and all of that, because of the language barrier, you know, and the players now, how's the relationship going to be? But yeah, man, it's football, and also we have to be professionals at the end of the day.
This was, and I think you and I spoke privately, and that's our chat, but I'm very close to my mom. Yeah. You know, that's my man's man. That's my girl, and I know your number one supporter from when I started reading up about you when you were still playing at school level. Yeah. You know, you'd always say how your mom was your cheerleader. Day after Mother's Day, of course, the tragedy hit, and you weren't even in the country, and you lost your mom. And once again, you know, big condolences on losing somebody that was such a big part of your life, and you know, such a big supporter of you. I can imagine the healing process is still ongoing.
Yeah, for sure, man. You know, I think also the timing of it was not right.
Yeah.
You know, of course, I know there's no way you can say your mother must die at this time.
Yeah, it's never the right time.
It's never the right time. But yeah, also, man, it was so sad and hurting that I didn't know at my last game, playing like the league game, you know, the last league game. It was the last day that my mother passed on, you know, and that was the day where I was so excited to go home after the game to see her, you know, because I knew that she was not okay, you know, and I kept believing that if obviously when I come back home, maybe she hears my voice or I touch her, she would wake up, you know. Yeah, man, and it's not been easy, but you know, having a good support system actually helps. You know, having my family close to me has helped me to try to be strong, you know, and it takes time, to be honest, because I still, when I sit down, I still try to figure out, you know, what's the way forward from here, you know, how do I deal with this, because it's something very new to me. I don't know.
You don't know life.
I don't know how am I gonna be. How is my brother also? Because my brother spent so much time with her, you know, and I'm mostly away, you know. But also when I come back home, I always make sure that I see her, you know. And we would speak every day and all of that. And that's to come to me when I'm alone. I'm like, oh my goodness, this is a big change for me in my life, you know. Yeah.
See, you're getting emotional, so I'm going to take a break. When we come back, the questions that you all want to know, the future of Caisius Mailula, we'll talk about that. Toronto FC centre forward and former Wydad and Sundowns player, Bafana player, Caisius Mailula is with us in studio and talking, well, life and everything in between, really. Just quick fire questions. How do Wydad save themselves? How do Wydad become Wydad again? Because right now they're not. What do you think needs to happen in that institution?
I think right now they're in the right direction with the changes that they made. You know, obviously from my point of view, it's just for them to fix, like, how can I say? Like, there's a lot of changes in terms of coaches. For me, I don't think sometimes it's about the coach. You know, it's just for them to be stable with one coach, where they've tried to help him, you know, to get the best result and to get the best players, because Wydad is a big club and they demand, you know, and also it's just for them to be stable, you know, even the management to support the players more, you know. Yeah, I think that's something that would help the club, yeah.
Another stability they don't have is financial stability. Did that affect you? I know it did, Coach Rulani.
No,
what about the players? Did you get your salary every month?
Yeah, we do get our salary every
full
month.
Every month?
No, obviously from my side, because remember, I get it because I'm on loan, and you know, I can't speak about what's in my contract, you know, because I'm also still
under contract.
You know, under contract with Toronto.
But you got paid your money every month.
But from my side, I was okay. No, I'm being honest. From my side, because I'm on loan. You know what I mean?
So Toronto would be fitting some of it.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
And what Wydad needed to do for you, they did.
From my side?
What they needed to do for you from
my side,
not from a Toronto side, from a Wydad side.
No. Look,
because
from my
Coach
side,
Ulane said that it was a struggle.
Obviously, they do struggle there and there, but I'm gonna be honest. As much as it's not on time, but they do. You know, they try.
Okay. It's not always on time.
It's not always on time, but they try to always make sure that they give you your salary. You know, yeah. But obviously, from my side, I would be okay because you know Toronto also still
covering it.
You know, yeah.
Speaking of Wydad, is it a place where you would be happy to get a permanent contract at? If they say Toronto, we loved him, we want him, would you?
Can I come in? Because I'm a contract.
Not a contract. I just want to know if they were interested, but you can, of course.
Well, Caisius already
the voice that you're hearing is P Management Sports director Karabo, by the way, who manages Cash. And we wanted her in this conversation because you know there are conversations like this that you might want to have.
I would love to clarify some things. Yep. I think one, Cash has made it the announcement that he's very grateful for the time at Wydad.
Yeah, he said thank you. I saw the post.
Yeah, so it's not viable to go back to Wydad, and I think he's done what he needed to do there. I want to circle back to whether Toronto was the right move.
Yeah.
Because I saw you
Because you're a part of
I saw
that
you
move.
scrunch your forehead so much.
How
that,
big a part of that move were you?
I mean, obviously, we are the ones that even pitched to Toronto to consider Caisius Mailula.
Okay.
And I loved your intro, by the way. It was very poetic, very beautiful. I can tell you spent time on it. About decisions and risks we make in life.
Yeah.
Had Toronto worked out, we'd be like clapping hands for Caisius, right? Had your opportunity in Metro, tanked, we wouldn't be here. Life is a lot of what ifs, right? The song that Tibo Touch came out with, I was like, this is perfect. Because if you look at Sundowns the year that Caisius left, Ribeiro came in. I'm going to say things that you guys are not thinking of. Ingram Reyners came in. So who is to say, had he stayed, he would have enjoyed game time?
Oh, would they have come in with because an Ichi came way after?
No. Well, Ribeiro was signed.
Yeah, Ribeiro, but an Ichi
Once
came
he
way
was
after.
he was announced while Caisius was still there, and I love Sundowns. I have great respect for them. But the challenge about saying, was it a good decision, necessitates that you think that Sundowns would have been a success. What if he had an injury? He played the Club World Cup. He actually played 2 fixtures because of the moves that he made. Success is not linear, Andile. You and I know that. Our careers speak for themselves. There's a time where Somizi was without work. There's a time you were without work. There's a time I'm without work. But there's certain decisions you make to say, will this work for me?
It was a risk. It was a
It
calculated
was.
risk.
It was
to
a
say.
calculated risk.
Yeah.
And I actually don't think we should base it on money. The money aspect was a good aspect, but it's not the consideration. MLS is a team is a league that's getting more eyeballs on it at a rate faster than any league. Yes, because of, Abu Messi coming in, but because of the broadcasting deals they have. So we saw it as a scouting opportunity as well, to say this could be a segue into Europe. And you rightfully ask, what about the Dutch leagues, the Scandinavian leagues? They are actually
French league, Portuguese,
the better stepping stone.
That's a traditional stepping stone.
Yes, conventional stepping stone.
100%.
But what is available to us? And what is the
Are you saying there wasn't availability? Caisius didn't have availability?
Was there a firm offer
Was there
at the
offers
time?
outside?
No, of course we would do things that are more trusted and developed. But I think sometimes you take risks and they pay off, and sometimes they don't. But Caisius played the World Cup, because of
Scored a goal.
Yeah, of that risk, And another thing is that, we're now speaking to a few options because of that calculated risk. So perhaps it is a segue into Europe in our own unique way. At the time, people don't know there was a Croatian Premier League and Wydad that were offered Toronto alone, But obviously, Cash was at a point where he was like, I want to play for someone who knows me.
Yeah.
Who
Get my confidence
understands,
back.
my psychology. And I was like, well, this is Europe. And he was like, not right now.
So when he went to Wydad, there was a
Croatia.
Croatian offer as well.
There was a Croatian Premier League
in
offer.
the Premier League, yeah?
Yeah, on loan. I mean, at the time, these are things we can't say because they're sensitive, right? And we were actually so close to concluding the Croatian deal that Orlando was like, guys, please consider for your Wydad fans. And we did, for the relationship, but also for the value it would bring and what it would do to him. So I don't think we should only see it as regrets and mistakes. I think that in life, we'll probably understand in a few years that pain was worth the summit and the mountain you're on now.
Then that speaks to the future then, right?
Yeah.
Let's start locally. Is there an opportunity that Caisius might play? Caisius, let me start with you. She can answer the contractual things, but from your heart point of view, would you be happy to come back and play in South Africa? I don't want to mention teams, but firstly, in the Betway Premiership, is that somewhere where if you landed here in the next season or two, you'd be like, I'm happy here? Or is that for you, when you listen to what everything Karabo said, would that then be a step back for all the work and the sacrifice that you made in the first place?
Look, as I said, when we started to talk, I said obviously you can't block, an opportunity to come back home. just yet, you know, and also it depends on what they're offering. Also, you know, what's their plan with me. And for me, I wouldn't say that I'm gonna close that door, you know, because you never know in football, you know. So for me, yeah, man, it will be nice, but also I know that I'm very ambitious, and my goal and dream is to still go to Europe, you know. And for me, firstly, I'll start by looking at what's out there for me in Europe or in other big leagues.
It'll be one of your last resorts.
You know, I would put it there for now, but obviously that's what I'm saying. Like, I won't close that door. You know, if an opportunity comes, yes. But for now, obviously, you know, because of I'm saying I'm still contracted to Toronto, I've got to respect them, you know, and I know that I still have a lot to offer for them. You know, I feel like I have unfinished business with them, you know. So
and in South Africa, are you perhaps, because of your gratitude to Sundowns, are you tied to Sundowns, or?
I love Sundowns.
Or there'd be, if Chiefs came around and said, "Hey, man,"
I love Sundowns, my friend. I love Sundowns. Sundowns is home. You know, I think even the president and the chairman knows, you know, that is my first love, you know, and I obviously, before I can think of other things or other teams, you know, obviously I will start with Sundowns, you know, and after that, if things don't go well in terms of negotiations and all of that, then I can start to think of other things, you know. But for me, Sundowns is my home. Yeah. So
Sundowns first, then maybe a Chiefs.
Just trying to pin us into a corner tonight.
Karabo, what? Because what's sitting on your desk now? You know, there's a Toronto conversation that needs to be had as soon as he's cleared his mind.
Yeah.
And he's played a lot of football over the last couple of months, whereas his counterparts in Toronto haven't. What's the conversation there, and what's the future conversation looking like with your inbox at the moment?
In other words, where's he going?
That's his question,
That's
actually.
what he's really asking us. Immediate future is Cassius taking a break at home. We've agreed timelines with Toronto. They've been so gracious. Toronto's also opened up to us giving them options. I have 3 offers on my desk at the moment, but we're doing the same exercise. And now, you know, I think that experience is the best school for anybody.
Yeah.
So now we're like a little bit more cautious. We want to speak to head coaches. We want to understand what we're getting into. I can reveal one of them is Egyptian, one of them is European, but baby Europe, not full Europe. And then there's another one in
Baby Europe, meaning not the top 5 leagues.
Yeah, not the top 5 leagues.
So like a Turkey.
I'm not going to confirm.
Croatia.
I said Navy Europe.
No, I'm just mentioning the countries where we're talking about. Okay.
Yeah.
Are any of them local? South African?
To be honest, the local guys have showed just support for Caisius to want to understand what is going on with him. And yeah, he's open to that. But at the moment, we're gonna take our time.
Because I'm not sure what's going on with Sharulile as well. I'm not sure if he's staying or going, so there might be a spot there. Is that a conversation?
We must invite Sharulile's representative.
You know, that means, you know, it could be a reunite. No, but number man going to go Sundowns. No number man. Can you remember?
33, yeah.
33, ne?
Yes.
Hey, is it 33 now?
Yeah.
I think it's available.
Andile, let's get out of there.
Okay.
Just 30.
No, I'm just saying.
I'm looking at the time as well. Don't you have to wrap up the show?
Cash, I wish you the best. I think you've said a mouthful. If local teams do come in, there's a right offer and it's the right time, you're going to compare it to everything else that's coming in. There are 3 offers, Europe, Egypt. At the moment, what was the third? I missed the third, actually.
It was the Middle East somewhere.
That's big money.
Yeah, but like I said, like
What do you mean?
Hey, you love
we
money.
have considerations. We have considerations. And I mean, we might announce something completely different. That's the thing about this time of the season.
Changes any time.
Any second.
Yeah. You could leave here and there could be something and it's like, no, he lied, but he didn't.
Yeah,
it changed as you were walking out.
Maybe you're advertising us to a club.
Listen, I would, and here's the thing. I love soccer players on the field. I think they do great, but the ones that I fall in love most are the ones that are more than just soccer players. Rolando says it best when he says great people first. And I would vouch for you any day. You're a great human first, and you're a dedicated human. You're not full of the stuff that comes out the rear. You're a good person, and for me, that's most important. I wish you the very best of luck with everything that you've got to go for. Now it's manifest.
Thank you, my friend.
Nangago Al Hilal kinale 19.
I'm not sure you can still play football.
Hey, I'd be out there. I appreciate you.
Thank you. Man.
All the very best. Yeah.
Thank you very much, man.
We'll see you soon. Karabo, thank you for coming through.
Thank you. I'm a promise keeper.
But the World Cup coming as well. That's got to be top of your mind in the choices you're making.
Definitely, my friend. It's every guy's dream to play for Bafana Bafana.
So then the choices you're making as to where you're going are going to be affected by that.
No, not gonna be. Oh yeah, yes, of course. Because if I'm playing, then the coach will definitely call me. But if I'm not playing, then there's no way that the coach.
Or if you're in the wrong league, even because he
I
rates
don't think
leagues.
it's about the league. For me, yes, of course, the coach maybe has a different feeling about which league you're playing for. But for me, if you're doing well, yes, why not be called?
Let me step. I'm getting into faith time. Thank you very much. I appreciate you.